Everybody, welcome your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen, with my co-host Michael Folks. Welcome, Michael.
Good to be here, David. Thanks for having me again.
It's always nice. I hear it's a little cold up there in your neck of the woods today, huh?
I got a sweatshirt and a jacket on, and I'm still freezing. This office is like a wind tunnel when I got the doors open, so I got to shut the doors down and try to get warm. But it's cold. It's in the low 60s today.
Yeah, and windy, right?
Yep, windy, and it was kind of misty this morning. It's pretty nice and foggy. But
opening day of Rockfish. This is the third year in a row they couldn't make it off the dock.
It was too rough, huh?
Everybody's canceled today. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, that wind was blowing last night pretty good.
So they all have to wait to go catch their 2 red rockfish till maybe Thursday or Friday.
Well, they better do it soon, or there's going to only be 1 rockfish.
Pretty amazing what's going on. I mean, you and I are on to this all the time, and we talk about it all the time, gang. But we have this big meeting coming up on the 16th and 17th again, and this time they're going to tell us what they've decided to do with our sand bass. And there's all kinds of other agendas going on. We have to stay informed. We have to stay on this. We have to let them know that we care. It's super important. I put the QR code up. It's right underneath Michael's chin. That's how you guys can get onto this meeting on the 16th and 17th. And they got a million things on the agenda, Michael, which is crazy how they stuff this thing full of all these different things. I firmly believe in my heart it's to keep your eye off the ball.
Yeah, they don't want us to be too focused on what they're trying to do.
Which is?
Ban the sport.
And you had a great interview in your Docuseries with Frank Lepresti, gang. If you don't know who Frank is, he owns Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. He's been in the industry forever. He owns long-range boats. He's got his hand pretty much in every boat in San Diego if you get down to it, if you start pulling back the blankets.
Yep.
And he said it perfectly and very eloquently. They're on a mission in the United States of America to abolish fishing.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. Yeah. They are. There's a left-wing extremists that want to abolish the sport. They think we only should participate as observers in any interaction with nature, just as an observer. We shouldn't participate in any other form. So don't get me started this early.
No, we're not doing that. I'm just reading some of the comments. A couple of the guys, this is their favorite show of the week. We do this podcast 6 days a week, gang. Every Tuesday, Michael is my co-host, which, gang, you don't understand. For me, it's an absolute privilege to have Michael as my co-host because I grew up watching your show, Michael. And a lot of people on here right now are saying how great it is to have you on here.
Somebody said he loved the Thresher Shark show that we did in the kayaks when the guy got the treble hook stuck in his chin. That guy he wasn't even fishing with us. He was just out there. And one of our guys, when he got hooked up, one of our guys had his line over the top of him and was reeling it in, and it spun up and hit him in the face and just buried it. It was buried down to the bone. And the guy just goes, "Give me a pair of dikes." And he just cut the thing off, left the stud in his chin, and kept fishing the rest of the day, and went and saw the doctor that night and had the hook removed. And the whole time we're filming, he goes, I don't know. I don't want to look like a pussy. And I go, "Are you kidding me?" you are bones down hardcore. So turned out to be pretty cool.
Oh, no, that episode was incredible. Just to see that happen and just to think about the pain that to try to get that hook going in. Get it out. That's the part.
He didn't bother to get it out. He just cut it. Just left the stud sticking out of his chin and kept fishing all day.
Crazy.
I'm almost puking filming it.
So gnarly, but we got a couple of things to talk real quick about. Brian Carter, longtime member of the website, very good human being. We had a great time at the Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show and a great night at the dinner. We had a big barbecue in the parking lot, but Brian Carter won the last ambush of the season Promar award. He won the $500 worth of Promar products. He won the $50 worth of Your Saltwater Guide merchandise. And Brian, it couldn't be for a more deserving human. And you know what's funny, Michael? You had to post on Instagram. You had to hashtag ambush the season 24. And Brian started out going, I don't think they're seeing me. And Justin goes, Brian, your account's private. No one can see you. And then he's like, oh my gosh, it is. And he took the privacy off, and lo and behold, look what happened. He won. And,
yeah, that's pretty funny.
And then our other buddy, I can't even believe it, wins the biggest halibut on the Dana Wharf Halibut Derby for the month of March. Is that absolutely, we're back to back. I just can't believe it. That's Jason Cutter, who is a big time Maine fisherman. He's from Maine, and he's been out here on the West Coast, and he's just gobbled up Your Saltwater Guide, all the information, and then became part of Bill Varney's bundles, and he's surf fishing, and he's getting on boats, and he's fishing with different members, and he went on the halibut derby out of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing that my sister puts on, and he won the biggest halibut of the month of March in the halibut derby.
Right on. How big was it, you know?
What was this? He's on here right now. What was the size? I can't remember. I only talked to about 1,000 people every day. Jason Cutter, how big was the fish? I don't know. He'll tell us. He'll be on here in a minute. He's watching. He's listening. He's probably typing. But pretty amazing. Your Saltwater Guide, just making it happen. Just having a ball. You guys are the reason why we get to do this show. And then back to what we were talking about, why we wait for the size to come up. Following you growing up, 6.2 pounds. Not a whopper, but big enough.
That was the biggest one of March?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you got to love it.
You got to love it.
Won all the money. Woohoo. But watching Inside Sport Fishing on Fox Sports West and seeing the thing about it, like Todd Manser, he got to be on the show. You did, I don't even know how many parts you did with Todd, but just to see my buddies on the show week in and week out was so exciting. It was just the coolest stuff growing up as a captain, and you were it. My dad used to say, what you did for our industry was incredible. We needed you at that point in our industry so bad.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of support throughout the industry for all those years. And now, I mean, look at what you're doing every day. I mean, you're putting out an hour's worth of programming 7 days a week or 6 days a week, every day. And I did a half hour every week, and it kicked my ass. So, I mean, it's just unbelievable what's available today. I mean, 20 years ago, we've never even envisioned something like this possible. You're sitting in San Diego, you know, you're down in Cabo San Lucas, and we got people from San Diego coming in. I'm sitting in Laguna, all over the country. And it's like, it's right here. It's right now.
No, it's pretty weird. 2 days ago, we did a live show on Sunday with Pablo Fernandez Charters. He did a live fishing show for 6 hours. I produced it here in my office in Cabo San Lucas. He was live on his boat, Michael, for 6.5 hours. And we had over 60,000 people watch it.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's
live.
Yeah, live. There were so many people coming in and coming out, coming in and coming out throughout the day. And he caught, before he went live, he caught a 30-pound yellowtail. And then when he went live, he didn't catch a fish for 4 hours, not one. And everybody stayed glued to their computer watching the show. It was incredible. Then he ended up catching like a 25-pounder at like hour number 5. And then he went into the kelp for a little while, caught some mackerel, some short barracuda, and some calico bass. But it's just incredible. No one's ever done that before, these live fishing shows.
I think it's so cool. I talked about it with Frank like 15 years ago about setting cameras up on the back of the boat and in the wheelhouse, kind of like what they've done on Deadliest Catch, and Wicked Tuna, and also a couple of cameras at the landing so people could watch 24/7. The boats come in, they watch them offload, whatever. Just, it's just. But Frank said, no, we can't show anything live because the Mexican government's watching every move we make, and if we happen to come in with a load of fish and it looks like it's too many fish that we've caught recreational, they're going to shut us down. So he didn't want to have anything to do with live broadcasts from the landing. And I think it's fascinating what you're doing. I mean, if you can't be there, at least you're getting to watch it live.
Oh, and the people that are going on the trip, they get on the boats and the first thing they ask, are we going to get to go live today? They're so excited to be a part of the show.
Yeah.
Because then they get to go home and tell their family, hey, you can watch me fishing today. We can watch it. You don't have to tell the story. You can
just
watch.
Yeah. And it's so cool what you've done, David, and what you've taken with this technology. And you and Elliot together have built something that's just, it's organic and it's authentic and it's alive and it's real and it's just straight dope. It's just straight dope. I think people are so sick of getting spoon-fed, stuff that's 24, 48 hours old. And, just what you're doing is straight up, man. I love it.
And they all think they got to have some cool music and and they got to edit and edit and edit and edit. You get to see if we suck. And like I told Pablo,
me too.
Like I told Pablo, as you saw, it doesn't matter if you're catching or not. People are on the boat with you from their living room. They're hanging out all day on the boat with you. It's pretty spectacular.
Yep. It's pretty amazing. I'm working on some footage right now from Zane Gray on his first 1,000-pound marlin that they caught down there off New Zealand in 1926, I think. And it was like, that was a big deal. I mean, they have 35 millimeter cameras on board the boat and they're filming with film stock. And here it is 100 years later, and I'm still massaging the footage and putting it out there. But, the fact that, you're doing it live. I mean, it is so cool. I love it.
And who'd have thought people would watch? We didn't know.
I think you should go 24 hours a day, Dave, 7 days a week. Just get one of those iPhones and just wear it around your hips or something. So you're filming everything you're doing.
Yeah, then I'd lose my audience for sure. Gang, it's Promar Ahi USA Tuesday. We talk about Promar products on Tuesdays. I want to thank Promar for being a part of your saltwater guide team for so long. And we're going to show you a cool video a little bit later in the show. And today was opening day of Rockfish. And I guarantee you, if you look back last year and the year before, opening day of Rockfish seems to be the windiest day of April every year. April 1st is the windiest day of the month. It hasn't let us down for 3 years. It's pretty scary that you could set your clock around. The wind's going to blow as hard as it can blow opening day of Rockfish. All the poor guys that have been waiting to go make some money, they're all stuck at the docks. Believe me, none of them want to be stuck at the dock right now. So if you were scheduled to go out on one of the boats and you're kind of bummed because you're not there, trust me, you don't want to be there today.
No. There are too many days when I've been out there and just gotten my ass handed to me. It takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah. Like Todd Manser and I always say, there's 360 beautiful days in Southern California. Why go out on the 5 crappy days?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I have become a flat fisherman as I've gotten older.
Oh, it's definitely, like Kelly and I say, if it's blowing, we ain't going.
No, don't need to. Been there, done that. Lived large. Took it over the bow too many times.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, grease flat, Cubby. Yeah, April Fools.
Yeah.
So, Michael, I want to go back to what we were talking about a couple months ago when you and I first started co-hosting together, and the very beginning days of inside sport fishing. Now, a lot of the guys that are watching right now are seeing the history of sport fishing, but a lot of people, if you haven't seen the old footage of inside sport fishing and what it meant to our industry, where did this idea come from to make a fishing show of basically Southern California? But you went everywhere. You were all over the place.
Well, we started in Southern California for sure. I mean, that was home base. And the first couple of years, it was all Southern California. And then once we started, the show got a little bit more established, and we started getting some calls from Mexico and the Van Warmers and some of the other resorts in Alaska and saying, hey, would you like to come up and do a show with us? And we said, yeah, hell yeah. So we were fortunate enough to have gotten in early, if you will. And, it was kind of a unique situation. Nobody was doing what you're doing today, or podcasting or live broadcasts at all. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of post-production to make the shows polish up and get to where they could be broadcast ready. But it was, I don't know how I got started, to be honest with you. I think somebody called me and said, hey, you ought to see this fishing show. Somebody's doing this fishing show and it's horrible. It's just big old guy talking about eating fish, and Lowry's, and just it was anyway. So I took a look at it, and it was a pretty poorly produced show. And I called this guy named Mike Gill, who was producing it at the time, and said, hey, Michael, I did this. I've been in the film business my whole life. And he said, well, what do you have in mind? I said, well, I'd like to come out and maybe shoot a show with you guys and see if we could get it up a notch. And so he said, yeah. So he invited me out, and we filmed, and we did a few episodes together, and it kind of got started. It was called Fish On back in the day with Mike Gill and Fish On. And that's just sort of how it evolved, and after working with those guys, they weren't paying their bills, and they were lying and cheating and stealing. And I finally said, it was my editing facility that we were using, my guys. And so I ended up paying for their programming out of my pocket to pay the editors because they weren't paying them. And I said, I can't do this anymore. So I just said I quit. And then I called Toyo Shimano out of the blue. And I'll never forget, I wrote him a letter. And I said, dear Mr. Shimano, I'm trying to do this, blah, blah, blah. And he wrote and pen across the bottom in green ink. He goes, what is involvement usually has some green attached to it. What do you have in mind? I said, I don't know. And he says, well, come on in and let's talk. So I get over to Shimano's headquarters there in Irvine. And first thing he does is hands me this bass rod. And he says, come with me. And I go, what are you going to do? He said, we're going to go out here and cast this rod for a minute and see how the tip works and stuff. He had a couple of them, him and Pfeiffer and I. And we went out in the front of the parking lot. And he says, make a few casts. He wanted to see if I knew what I was doing. And, so fortunately I don't know what the target was, but I hit the target like twice in a row. And he goes, okay, let's go inside and talk. So I passed my job interview. And then he said, yeah, we'd like to be involved with you guys. So that was way back when they had Beastmasters, I think then we start late 70s. I can't even remember. Yeah, it was late 70s, I think, wasn't it? Early 80s?
Early 80s.
Yeah, and so we started the first show we did was Barracuda out of Long Beach. And so I've got my cameras and all the gear, and I've got my Pen 4/0s, with the Newell conversions on them and stuff, and the Barracuda are boiling. I get my jig and I throw it out there, and he goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm casting. He goes, not with that, you're not. He says, put that shit away. You're a Shimano guy now. So I said, well, I don't have any Shimano gear. He goes, we'll get you set up, but put that stuff away, will you? Quit filming other people's rods and reels. So it was a learning curve. I think you and I had one of those incidences where you had something on the back of your shirt, and I said, you can't wear that. If it swims, kill it.
No, it was, my old logo was effing them up.
Yeah. And it was
effing them up on a thresher shark's tail.
Yeah, we can't put that on the air, Dave. God damn it. So you turn the shirt inside.
I had to wear my shirt inside out. I finally made it on Inside Sport Fishing, and I have to wear a shirt inside out.
Yeah.
Yeah. My buddy Eric, are you guys still in Dubai? He's watching. I think he's watching from Dubai right now, Michael. Crazy. Really? Crazy. Gang, we're going to keep talking with Michael about the beginning stages of inside sport fishing. Then we'll roll into the history of sport fishing again, because we got a bigger audience than we had when we first started doing this, which is great. I just want to show you guys this video is all about this Ghost Shrimp Pump. Those of you that are watching the show for the last couple of weeks, you've seen it. But this Ghost Shrimp Pump is second to none. And we want you to make sure you have one of these. So when you're out there getting those ghost shrimp and going bonefish fishing in the back bay or wherever you're fishing, remember what Bill Varney always says, that ghost shrimp, it's not a matter of are you going to catch a fish? It's what are you going to catch? Because it's always going to be whatever fish gets to that bait first. So turn down your volume. Remember, Captain Michael, you might want to turn down your volume too. When this comes on, he's actually screaming at the camera because the wind's blowing so hard. Okay. Turn your volume down, everybody. Here we go. I warned you.
Hey, what's up, guys? Captain Clouds here with Promar Ahi USA. They came out with a brand new Ghost Shrimp Pump, state of the art, best one on the market. Stainless steel with beautiful features like these really sturdy handles. The exit hole is on both sides, so you don't get any air bubbles when you pull, on your stroke up. And the end of it is really sharp, so it goes in the sand or the mud really easy. All the components are really accessible, where you can change the grommet and stuff like that. I've used a lot of pumps over the years, stainless steel ones as well, and this one is top notch. So I'm out here to show you how easy they work, and let's go over here and check it out. So all these little holes right here are ghost shrimp houses. So you go over the little hole and pull, and it's very easy. There's a bunch of small ones right here where we're at, but there's one right there, honey. See that? So here's a ghost shrimp right here. These are the perfect bonefish size right here. But just a couple pulls on the ghost shrimp pump, and we got some ghost shrimp. So if you guys are looking for a really cool stainless steel ghost shrimp pump, go to PromarAhiUSA.com and get yours today. See ya.
Great pumps.
It's incredible how easy that pump is to use, because I did it without one day. We're using his old PVC pump, and it was
PVC
gnarly.
Pipes are hard. They're hard to get down into the mud.
Yeah, it's in that stainless steel. You just shove it in there, like Al said. It's sharp on the edge. It goes right in there, no problem. So check it out, gang. Right now we got the QR code up on the screen. You get to save 15% on any product at Promar. You guys want to get the rock cod squirts. You want to be ready when the wind does stop blowing on Friday to have your rock cod squirts and go rockfish fishing, and all the other products at Promar. Go check it all out. PromarAhi.com is how you're going to get your stuff. And then if you guys are just listening, driving around, put in the code YSWG and the number 20, and you're going to save 15% on all the products at Promar. Check it all out. And Brian jumps in here every once in a while. He may come on here. Maybe he's got something else to say, but he wanted to congratulate Brian Carter for winning the Ambush the season from Promar, $500 worth of product. And then you get $50 extra worth of product because you were wearing your Saltwater Guide shirt when you took that picture. So good for you. And then those of you that are wondering, what is that growth on my shoulder? Well, when we were in the middle of that commercial break, Marley decided he wanted to get up on the shoulder and see Michael a little closer. So that's my monkey. And his name's Marley, and he's a super cool dude. And he's usually with us every day on every show. So those of you that are new, we do this podcast 6 days a week, Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock and on Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock. And I don't know, it's pretty fun. People enjoy watching it. We got a bunch of great sponsors, and we're always there for you. And we try to answer everyone's questions. If you've never seen the show before, we answer your questions. We stay involved with our people. You're in the Maldives. How do you say that, Michael?
I don't know.
The Maldives?
Maldives? I don't know.
Yeah, you did, Eric. You started your fishing career with us at Dana Orr Sport Fishing. Yep. The Maldives. Yeah, that's where they are. Him and his wife, Tracy, longtime friends. His wife used to be my babysitter.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, long time ago. My goodness. So back to what we were talking about. The beginning of Inside Sport Fishing. Didn't you film a little bit before you fast forward it? Didn't you do a little stuff with Dan Hernandez?
Well, that was the beginning.
Okay.
That was when he was doing Fish On. Dan Hernandez was doing Fish On with Mike Gill. And
All right. So it goes way back there. The Maldives.
Yeah, somebody mentioned it earlier. It was Dan Hernandez.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that was my buddy Matt Ryan. He doesn't let nothing slip through the crowd.
No, he's on top of it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So this whole sport boat thing, going out on the sport boats, was pretty interesting. I guess my dad said Frank Hale did something like that, or somebody did that up in Long Beach back in the 50s, right?
In the 50s, it was called fishing flashbacks or fishing flashes. And it was out of Pier Point Landing.
Yes.
And they did tons and tons of shows. And I begged, borrowed, and just did everything I could to try to get some of that 16 millimeter footage from the family that ended up having it all. And I can't remember their names for the life of me right now, but they just flat out refused to allow me to take the 16 millimeter films, take them to LA, get them digitized, and then give them back the 16 millimeter originals with a copy that they could look at on digital format, and then let me use some of that footage to edit with. They just flat out refused to allow me to do it. So there's hundreds of half-hour episodes of fishing flashes up in Long Beach somewhere in a warehouse that are just sitting on a shelf. And I couldn't, I begged them. And even Bill Knott, who helped form SAC, and his wife, before Bill passed, and Bill was on his deathbed actually, and made a phone call to the family and said, is there any way that you could allow Michael to have some of this footage so we could preserve it? And they just flat out said, no, it's too valuable to give it away to somebody that we don't know. And yeah, it's been there sitting. That was what, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and they haven't made a dime off of it. And the stuff's just rotting. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you get people that just don't want to cooperate.
Well, I remember that show when I was a little kid, because my dad, when he would be home, very rare occasion on the weekends. I remember the show would be on the weekends, and they would go out on the boats, but they had like sea lions in front of the landing in a cage. And it was just, for a kid, it was just such an amazing time, because all we knew was fishing off the end of the San Clemente Pier. I'm sorry, but that's where I grew up.
Me too. So, Newport, same deal.
Having a harbor didn't make any sense to me. Seeing that stuff and the boats setting at docks tied up that you didn't pull up to a pier and all that stuff. So all that stuff was different for me as a kid, but I can remember it. And I wish that family would have given you some of that. That would have been so bitching to look at now. I mean, you can't even get it on YouTube where you can pretty much see everything.
Nobody's digitized it. I did get access to one half-hour episode from Bill Knott that he had it. And he gave me that one Hurricane Holiday, I think it was called, when they actually ran the boat out of Pier Point, and this was a 3/4 day trip. They start off on Long Point, catch bluefin tuna, drive to Santa Barbara Island, load up on rockfish, and get a swordfish on the way home. Oh. That was a 3/4 day trip.
Oh my gosh.
Bluefin tuna, rockfish at the island, at Santa Barbara Island, and then made their way home and got a sortie on the way home. First swordfish ever caught on a rod on a sport boat. They harpooned it, but they did get a swordfish and we've got that footage. So I just, it's there somewhere. I pretty much just gave up trying. You get told no enough times, you just finally look for sources elsewhere. But maybe somebody out there will hear it and have access to it, and we can do something with it, because I would love to at least digitize it. That was part of the goal when we started the History of Sport Fishing, Dave, was that I'd been collecting all these old movies and stuff that I'd buy at a swap meet. I'd see something, a big canister of film, and it said fishing. And I went, $10, I'll buy it, And anyway, getting the stuff digitized was a top priority. And that was one of the motivations to really want to tackle this project, was to make sure that we preserve that old film stock in a digital format that'll be around for generations now, where the other stuff, the celluloids, it dissolves, it just oxidizes and dries out and becomes brittle, and you can't save it. So film is a living, breathing, organic celluloid. cellulite's what I got on my ass.
No. No, we're not talking about that. But the thing growing up as a kid in the industry and then seeing your industry on TV was such a big deal, gang. So when you started Inside Sport Fishing, what year was that?
Boy, I think we started that series in the late '80s. You know, the distance starts to become a giant blur as you get older. You know, but I think it was in the 80s. Honestly, maybe it was the early 70s. I can't remember. I did the Ultimate Challenge with Frank, I think in '76. So that's when we went down and did the Ultimate Challenge. And I'm digging that out. We're going to put it up on YouTube in its entirety so you can watch the entire Ultimate Challenge, which is a classic. It's got Tommy Rothery, Norm Kagawa, and Rollo, Frank. I mean, just an amazing crew. And so I'll get that dug out and put it up on YouTube. But after that, I think it was probably at least 3 or 4, maybe 10 years between that and when we started doing the Inside Sport Fishing. But it was what an adventure. What an adventure. You know, the first, I called up Donnie Brockman, who ran the freelance. I tell you the story, I ran the freelance out of Davies Locker. And I said, Donnie, I'm trying to make this new TV show on Southern California sport fishing. He goes, oh, that sounds great. And I said, I'd really like to come out in the boat and film with you. And he goes, hey, buy a ticket and do whatever you want. He would not even give me a pass to come on the boat with my film crew to promote him, his boat, Davies Locker, and everything they were doing. And he said, just buy a ticket and you can do whatever you want. You can fish, film, I don't care. So we ended up buying tickets, going on the freelance, filming it. And then 15 years later, he comes up to me at the Fred Hall show and he goes, you know what? 15 years later, and people are still coming up to me and talking to me about that show. It's the best advertising money I ever spent. I get any money. So it was pretty funny that he had those kind of results. You know, 15 years after the fact, people were still talking about it. So,
well, yeah, back in those days, gang, there was just 2 avenues for us in our industry, and which has been going on for a long time. Pete Gray, Marty Milner, that hour-long show in the mornings on Saturday mornings, the Let's Talk Hookup, and then Inside Sport Fishing. And my father was so proud of both of you, Pete and you, for bringing our industry into what he called into people's television sets and into their radios, which was just... There was no internet. There was nothing, gang. To think about what Michael was doing and how cutting edge that was back then was absolutely incredible. How long did it take for Fox Sports West to pick up what you were doing? Right away, or how long did it take?
When I decided I wanted to do the show, I called them. It was back in the day. It was called Prime Video or Prime something. Prime Ticket. It was
Prime Ticket.
Prime Ticket. And they were hungry for programming back in the day. I mean, they had a lot of infomercials. I don't know if you're young enough to remember or old enough to remember the infomercials. Basically, they would just sell anything for a half an hour, and the networks would run that in the wee hours of the morning and after 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. They didn't have any programming, so infomercials were big back then. And they said, we'll give you an infomercial spot. We'll give you a half-hour spot, but we'll trade you half of the inventory, half of the commercial inventory, and give you the spot. So we had, I think we had 14 30-second commercials, and they kept 7 and I got 7. And the 7 that I had, I was able to sell to Toyo Shimano, and Shimano was my first sponsor. And they stepped up and said, yeah, we'll give you a little bit of money to do this and see how it works out. So it worked out really well for us, I think, for both Shimano as well as myself, because they were my first and top sponsor for years and years and years. And then Ford came in. The Southern California Ford dealers came in about 5 or 6 years after that. I'll never forget, they were all fired up. Ford was all fired up, and they said, hey, we want you to come out to Scottsdale, Arizona and meet the president of Ford, and we're gonna pitch this show to him. And so they bring in this back room, this huge convention. They had the entire Scottsdale resort. I mean, it was all Ford. It was insane. And they bring me into this back door through this back office, and it's a smoke-filled room, and there's all these guys talking business. And the president goes, "So what do you have in mind?" I said, "Well, I want to do this fishing show." And he goes, "That sounds good. How much do you need?" And I said, "Well, if we could get maybe a couple $100,000." He goes, "What?" And I said, "Well, I mean," he goes, "Hey, listen, son, go out and get Coca-Cola, get somebody else's co-sponsor with you, come back with some real numbers, and we'll do a show with you." So I pitched myself so cheap that the Ford Motor Company turned me down because it wasn't worth their time.
Oh my God.
If I'd gone in with $1 million, I probably, $1 million project, they would have bought it. But I said, a couple $100,000. And the guy just looked at me and goes, "No, dude, go out and raise some money. Get Coca-Cola to co-sponsor with you and put some money together." Anyway, the Southern California guys stepped up and came in for a fraction of that, but they got us rolling. So Ford and Shimano, hats off to both of those groups, because they were with us from day one, and they stayed with me right up until the end, when they both decided within about 2 weeks of one another that TV advertising, pre-recorded television advertising, was not the future, and they wanted social media. So they both quit. They both dropped their sponsorships within 2 weeks of one another. So I went from being, sailing on top of the world to like 2 weeks, both my sponsors are gone. And that was pretty devastating. And was not really able to pick up the pieces after that. So that was a tough exit strategy after 30 years. I didn't even get a gold watch.
No, you didn't.
Didn't even get a pat on the back. Didn't even get an attaboy. It's like, "See ya. We got a new marketing director. He's all about social media." Okay.
And both of them at the same time. That's so bizarre.
Within 2 weeks of another, they both pulled the plug after, Shimano was 27 years, almost 30 years. And Ford was almost, 25 years in that neighborhood. So they both pulled the plug with no warning, no severance, no, we're going to pull the plug, but you've got another year or two to work it out or whatever. It's just, bye. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your service.
Wow.
Yeah, it was brutal. But like we talked about before, it shows the little word, business is the big word. And I never really paid attention to the business aspect. All I cared about was the show. It's always been about the product. It's kind of like what you do, Dave. It's all about the show. It's all about communicating. And you don't really care about the money. It's nice when it comes in and it sucks when it doesn't. But it's not why you do it. And it's not why I did this. And it's not why we did the Ultimate Challenge or Endless Summer. I mean, the history of sport fishing based on the Endless Summer idea it wasn't about the money. It was about telling the story and really trying to put something together that means something for the industry.
So Michael, this is Pablo Fernandez.
Hello.
Fernandez Charters. Pablo just wanted to tell you how much influence you were on him growing up. He watched your show all the time. Pablo, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, yeah, I know. I mean, I wasn't even gonna bug, but then Captain Dave here told me to pop in and say hi. But yeah, I just wanted to say hi and thank you for all that you do for us and all you have done. I mean, it's just fantastic to see the direction you've been going with, all the library of just the best videos about sport fishing ever, pretty much,
Oh man, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm just really stoked to see everything. And, to talk to you, it's like, like when I first started talking to Dave, I'm like, oh, this guy's not going to talk to me, Just some punk kid or whatever, but no, it's cool to talk to like the legends. Like you guys are a couple legends and, it's so cool to just be able to pop in here and say hi and just be, appreciative for all that you guys have done. And just really stoked on you guys.
It's, sitting in here for the last 4.5 years, editing basically in the studio and not going out at all and not filming because we're using all archive footage. I've been pretty much isolated, to be honest with you, completely isolated. I haven't done trade shows or anything else. And to hear you say that, it really means a lot to me. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. So, yeah, I was watching the show. It's funny. I was coming back from the boat. I've just been doing a bunch of boat work, especially with this wind right now.
Yep.
we get a lot of boat work done, even boat work we don't want to do. Because why not do it now? You know, it's like got to get ahead of it. So yeah, I've just been meticulously maintaining the boat, and that's it, man. Getting ready for this weekend of some lighter weather, and yeah.
You know, there's really nothing satisfies me much more than taking care of my boat. You know, I mean, even you're down in the bilges, cleaning the bilges or painting them, doing the engine work. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is that you're doing. When you're giving that girl love, you know she's going to give it back to you. And there's just something innately soul-filling by working on a boat, taking care of your boat. There's just something, there's a pride of ownership there that just, it's hard to explain. People that don't own boats, they'll never understand that. But, you know, I get as much joy down there doing varnish work or you know, repairing something as I do fishing or spending time on the boat. So.
No, absolutely. And like you said, whatever you put into it, you get back out of it. And the nice thing is, like, there's a couple little questionable things that I have right now. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to worry about this in the middle of the season. So I'm like ripping out pumps. I'm changing, rewiring, putting fresh wire in, just everything I can do right now just to make it, you know, hassle free. You know, no matter what, something's going to happen.
Something's going to screw up. I mean,
yeah, something's always going to happen. But at least if we keep the main safety stuff tip-top shape, that's the best way to go.
Somebody just posted something really nice up there.
Absolutely. I thought you needed to see that. That's my buddy Eric. You kind of changed his life, and he wanted you to see that. You changed millions of people's lives, Michael.
Oh, I just, it's hard for me to imagine, but thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really appreciate the appreciation.
And Pablo, the reason I wanted Pablo to come on here, Michael, is you ground broke what we're doing. You were the guy that was doing it back in the day, and Pablo flipping broke the internet on Sunday. He had 60,000 people watching his live show on his boat. The first time he's gone live with me, and he blew Justin's number. I mean, Justin is a phenomenal human being, and we all love watching him. Pablo took it to a whole different level, broke the internet, and it was incredible. 60,000 people watched Pablo fishing on Sunday live, gang. It was incredible. So that's what I thought was really important to bring you on here today with Michael, Pablo, because we just changed something again. I mean, Michael changed this 35 years ago and changed our lives. What you did on Sunday was an absolute change of the internet. The whole thing just shifted. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I give you so many props, Pablo, and we're both blessed to have you hanging out with us. As much as you feel that way about the two of us, we're stoked to have you, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but no, man, I'm not worried. But as far as Sunday goes, I didn't do anything. I think they just like looking at my engines. You know, I mean, because that's all I had. I just was showing the engines all day because I don't know if you saw it or not, Michael, but we just
you know, nice fish at the beginning before you got on air, and then 4 hours of nothing.
Yeah, it was so funny because we were having all these battery charging issues, and we were all using our phones, and the joke of the day was like, everybody bring your own charger next time, because they kept hijacking mine. So we never had any phone above 20% the whole day.
Jeez.
And so I had to like keep streaming in from different devices, and it was pretty funny. But I mean, it is what it is. That's technology. It's great when it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
Well,
yeah, we had a really good time, but I didn't do anything special. You know, I mean, I was just out there fishing, and they were looking at my engines, and once in a while they see a big fish, and sometimes they saw some small fish, and I guess, you know, we all had a great time.
You know, Pablo, if you think about it, Sci-Fi Stadium up there holds what? Maybe, I don't know, 80,000 people? And you have 60,000 people. That's the equivalent to an NFL stadium, or, you know, an NCAA something, you know, stadium full of people.
Right.
You have that many people watching you at one time, which is just amazing, you know?
Yeah, well,
so cool.
And that's the power of, you know, your saltwater guide for sure. And, you know, I mean, like I said, I didn't do anything. I was just out there fishing. trying to keep a camera working, you know.
Keep
But
the batteries charged.
yeah, that's the power of having you guys on here and, you know, taking care of me.
Well, what was really funny, Michael, is like Pablo was saying, he did all this with his phone.
I know.
And they were switching phones throughout the show because Pablo's phone would go dead. Then Steve Duncan's phone would come on. Then Tony Kendall's phone would come on. And like he said, there was never more than 20% on any one of their phones. And we got, and it's more than 60 because if you look at, and you guys can look at all the numbers, you think we're making this up, go over to YouTube, you can see the show was watched on YouTube live by 49,000 people. Over on YouTube, over on Facebook, it was watched by 11,000 people. And over on Instagram, it was watched by 9,000 people. So the numbers were more than 60,000. So all done with a telephone, Michael. Think of all the money you and I spent on cameras.
I know. I know.
Oh, it's just so fun, this technology thing. I'm so glad that you and I were able to live long enough to see this, because remember when we were little, they would show these sci-fi movies and you'd see this box that they would show and you would see a video on the box and you'd go, no way are we going to live that long to see a video on a box,
right?
Let alone on a little tiny telephone and 70,000 people are watching it. That is so insane.
And it looks great. I mean, the footage on those iPhones are as good as anything you can shoot on a big camera. You know, you shoot that in HD, it's fine. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm going through right now and trying to polish up some of the historical footage that we've gotten off VHS tapes that are all delaced and everything. And they're just, it doesn't look quite right. It ripples. And there's enhancers now that I'm going through and trying to enrich some of that old VHS footage and old film footage, trying to get it up-resed a little bit so it looks better. But you can pick up an iPhone, and make a movie. And you don't have to do a thing. It's better than anything I could shoot with.
Yeah, there's some movies out there that are made all by iPhone, which is kind of crazy.
No, it's so cool. Well, look at your show on Sunday. Your show was, or Saturday was, your show was 60. Sunday live to 60,000 people on an iPhone. Hello.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Like you said, I think that may be a landmark moment that we're going to look back on years from now and say that was a moment that really changed the industry again. Pablo.
Absolutely, because now we got a bunch of people, since we've been doing this live show now for a little over a year, the fishing part of it, the podcast, I've been doing it for 5 years, but the fishing part of it, we started last year with Justin with his telephone. Now he's got some bitchin' cameras, and Jeanette and Dave want you to call him, Pablo, when you're done here. Okay. Make sure you call Jeanette. And then, so the whole evolution of this thing is absolutely incredible. We never would have thought for 1 second that this many people would watch this show. But like Pablo will tell you, Michael and Captain Al Clowers and Justin, they're all doing the live shows now. When their people get on the boat now, they want to be on the live show, right?
Yeah.
Right, Pablo?
Oh, yeah. Like Justin was saying, you know, we're not making fun of anybody, but like Justin was pointing out, there's Justin.
Hey, Justin.
What's up, Michael folks? How are you doing?
See you, buddy.
Pablo, Dave, hola.
Hey, buddy. So, yeah, Justin was saying yesterday, like a lot of people, like when they're out lobster fishing with him or, you know, when he's out fishing and streaming, like they're watching it on there too. And the guys were doing that too on my boat. And, you know, a lot of times, honestly, when I'm out lobster fishing, I'm watching Justin too. I'm like, how's he doing up there? And like, you know, and then everybody's like texting me, give me a hard time. How are you doing? I'm like, we're doing really good. They're like, yeah, right. You're not on live. I'm like, dude, I can't. I only have my phone, you know? So it is tricky, you know, to operate the boat, the phone.
And catch fish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's what my primary focus is, of course, is catching the fish or the lobster. And, but yeah, it's funny when you're juggling it. And then when you're juggling 4 phones and then one of them won't even charge anymore, Isaiah's phone. And then, so then now we got 3 phones. We're rotating them all. One's on the charger. 2 of them are dead, or one of them's operating. One of them's dead. And like somehow we managed, but it's definitely a really, a learning curve for me, because I'm not someone that goes live like that. And, for me, I just want to get it to where it's all streamlined and where I'm not having to play with chargers and stuff.
I was going to say, I think there's some cameras that you can get today that are like $1.50, $250. You can set up 2 or 3 cameras that will feed into your laptop, for example.
Well, we're going to talk to Justin right now about that. Justin.
Yes. Pablo, are you using an iPhone?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why.
So listen.
Android.
Yeah, but I want Michael to understand something. Justin and we're still blown away when you joined Justin on his Zoom call that night. And so cool. Justin grew up watching you too. So for you to be on his watching Justin, it means the world to Justin.
Justin,
Michael,
I still got my notes from that. I was writing notes as fast as I could while I was listening to you. I'm going, oh my God, this guy's forgotten more about fishing in Southern California and the island than I've ever known in my life. I mean, it was like I was writing as fast. I get numbers here, do this, do that. I'm going, oh my God. It was so cool to get to see the way you process what's going on around you and how your awareness of what the conditions were, and then your knowledge to be able to take those conditions and apply the techniques that you knew or you thought would work, and then adjust those as you go. That's what it's all about. That's what running a boat's all about, is being able to adjust to the circumstances that you find yourself in, and then still be able to produce. And it was, thank you for that hour.
No, thank you, and especially coming from Michael Folks of all people.
Right?
Thank you.
It's all an illusion. It's all a delusion. What'd you say? We're legends in our own minds.
That's right.
Yeah, but Justin and I will tell you, Michael and Pablo, at the end of the day, we're all just a bunch of little boys, and we're still grew up watching you, Michael, and like, yeah, you're a little bit older than I am, but you know what? You were cutting edge for us to see you fishing and dream about being where you were and doing what you were doing. And then Justin called me up after the Zoom call, and he was just blown away that you were on the Zoom call the whole time listening to him. It blew his mind, dude.
I'm like, wait, what's going on here? Something's wrong.
I was glued. And, David, too, what you were saying is that, I honestly, I truly appreciate all the accolades, but I didn't do anything. I just had a camera with me and got to go out with captains like you guys and film what you were doing. And you're the ones that made the show. I mean, honestly, I just had a camera, and somebody said, like an Instamatic, it was a camera. That's all I did. And to be able to work with gentlemen and professionals like yourselves that know and live and breathe and do this as a living, that's why the show was so good, because it was all about the sport. It wasn't about the personalities. It was about the sport and being able to go to places and jump on boats with guys like yourselves that know what you're doing, and being willing to share that information on camera. That's what made the show, I think.
No, it did. It definitely did. But Justin was the first one out of all the people that are doing live fishing shows now. We got it documented. We were the first. Justin was the very first one doing it with his Android phone. And you know what was funny, Michael? You didn't see what we were doing, but when Justin first started doing it, him and I were having a conversation one night, and he's like, do you think they'd watch me lobster fishing? And I'm like,
yeah,
dude, I never even thought of that. Maybe let's try it. And that first night, him and I came out of that first night, and we were like, 14,000 people watched the first show. We were like, what the hell did we just do?
I remember I used to do these live just on my Facebook. I had like 300 followers, or 200 followers, or whatever it was. And I was like, man, it would be so cool if I just took my phone and went live and watched us catch some fish or catch some lobsters. And I think it was in 2012, 2013. And no, it was 2015. Sorry, 2015. Amanda, my wife, and Rylan were on the boat, and we were lobstering, and we went live. And I was like, oh, I got like 15 people watching. That's great. So the next day or the week later or whatever it was, we went live again on my Facebook, and Amanda hooked up to a white sea bass, and a really, really freaking big one. And of course, right as we're doing a live thing, I'm holding the phone. It's still on my Facebook. We're looking around, right, and everyone can see where we're at. And I mean, no one was watching it. There's maybe like eight people watching. I don't know. They probably were like, "Oh, are you in San Diego?" I'm like, "No, I'm in Long Beach." So I was filming her reel it in. It was on my other boat. I used to have a striper, and she went to the bow. She was reeling this thing in, and it came up, and then it dove back down, and she came over here, and I filmed it. It was a pretty big white sea bass, and back then I thought it was like 80 pounds, but it was probably like 30. So it was like a 30-ish pound white sea bass, and then she goes around to the stern of the boat, and she's reeling it in again, and it comes back up, and it dives down and takes a dive underneath the boat and goes to the bow, and I'm filming the whole thing, and then it comes up again right to where the gaff's at. I have the gaff and the phone in my hand, and I go to gaff it, and what do? The biggest dip poop job you can ever do. I gaffed the line.
No.
On the live video, right in front of everybody. And we lost the fish right there. Right on there. I could have grabbed it with my hand.
It's almost impossible to do both. You either film or you fish.
I thought I was He-Man, and I was able to.
Found out the other day. It's really difficult to do either one of them well if you're trying to do them both at the same time.
Yep. So I thought back then, I was He-Man. I could do both. I could film it with my hand, do the live thing, and I can take the gaff and gaff it. And when I did that, bad mistake, because I literally went over and swung and
just
snap.
Little adrenaline.
It's still on Facebook from many years ago, but yeah, pretty funny.
Now, what I want you guys to understand that haven't watched any of our live fishing shows, and you're going, what the heck are these guys talking about? We know we're old. We know it's not film. We know it's video. We know that. Okay. So calm down. You don't need to make that comment. You're looking at a bunch of old guys here. We used to use a thing called film. Most of you don't even know what that is. And we used to have a record player too. And we had a phone that was attached to the wall in our house. It was crazy. But you guys got to understand, Justin, when he went live on the lobster hoop netting, Justin is driving. How big's your boat? 42 feet, 44?
Yeah, 44-10, so 45.
Yeah. So he's driving a 44-foot boat with 4 passengers and a deckhand. He's involved in he's the captain. He's driving the boat. He's also holding his phone and videoing lobster fishing while he's backing up to the hoop nets, and it's blowing. A couple of those nights it was blowing 15, 20, the white caps, the water's pouring over the back of the boat. He's videoing it, driving the boat. The guy is hooking the hoop net with the gaff. Most of you can't even do one of these things. He's doing all this live, and we're all sitting there watching, just going, Kelly and I are on the edge of our bed just going, this is insane.
It's so cool. It's so organic. It's so real.
And now it was only a year ago we did that, right? So now it's just a normal thing.
And Michael, the funniest thing about it, and Tim Ogilvie said it perfect, was, and then in between sets, we looked up Justin's nose the whole time.
Yeah.
You were looking up his nose while he was driving from hoop net to hoop net, because he's holding the phone trying to talk to people and answer the comments, and it's videos right up his nose the whole time. But people watched. They watched, and now look at where we're at. Now we're sponsored. We got Promar sponsoring the show every night. We got Deckhand Sports. We got
Okuma.
Stanley Plumbing.
Okuma too, right?
Yeah, Okuma, Stanley Plumbing. FishingBooker.com is one of our sponsors. Promar sponsors 3 shows a week. It's just absolutely incredible. Code 4 Roofing, Manzer Marine, McCarty Yacht Sales. Who'd have ever thought? Like you said, Michael, we were just doing this because it was fun.
Yeah.
And it was just fun, and we couldn't believe people wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
Good
And
boy.
who would have ever thought that? I mean, there's I don't even know how to explain it, but if there's a will, there's a way, and doing things at the right time can go a long way. We did everything at the right exact time. It really couldn't get any better. It was the best year ever in history. The history of sport fishing. It was a history of lobster. So it was the best year ever of lobster fishing or lobster hoop netting ever. And then we decided, let's go live.
It was just everything lined up perfect. You're absolutely right. It couldn't have been any better. It couldn't have been any better. But back to what we were talking about before, the history of sport fishing. We haven't even talked about it today. But Pablo, Justin, and I, Michael, we love that docuseries. And anybody that hasn't seen it, I'm going to put the QR code up right in front of Pablo. Sorry, Pablo, but we got to do it.
See ya.
So you can get the history of sport fishing right there. If you're loving what we're doing, if you're loving what we're talking about, if you love when you were watching Inside Sport Fishing with Michael Folks and you have not seen the history of sport fishing yet, let me explain something to you. It's going to be a life-changing event when you watch it. It's a 12-part docuseries that Michael put together with his, like Kelly says, your velvety voice makes it all that it is. And it's absolutely spectacular because Michael, for Justin, Pablo, Kelly, and I, he's the true storyteller of our lives. And you guys got to go check this thing out. Just talk a little bit about the love of making this docuseries, Michael. We're going over today a little bit because it's such a great time to have everybody on here to pay tribute to you.
Well, thanks. Thank you.
Sorry, didn't mean to do that to you.
Well, Eric said earlier, you made a comment earlier about how you and Donna changed his life. That, Dana Wharf changed his life, and now he owns 3 boats. So it's like, you just put out good. You put your heart out there. That's all I know how to say. You just put yourself out there. You put your heart out there. You put your passion out there. You put your love for the sport out there, and good things will happen to good people. And, and I think we affect people in ways that we never even imagined. Like Justin, the other night when I got on your stream, it was like, I was blown away. I mean, I was blown away at how much knowledge you had readily available at your fingertips. And we're just spitting it out like it was, no big deal. We're doing this, we're doing that. They're here. This is what you do. You drop down to here, you change this. You get to pick your fish right now. There's nobody else out here. White sea bass are as thick as anchovies, and a bait receiver, and nobody's fishing them. I was just blown away. And I just, again, thank you so much for that. It got me so inspired. I was ready to call you and say, I want to go in the boat tomorrow, Yeah. So thank you. It was cool.
Thank you.
And before we shut down the show, gang, Michael, if you got a few words to tell everybody about the history of sport fishing and what it meant to you to put this thing together, because I can't talk about it enough to anybody that I see. I'm just like, have you seen the history of sport fishing? Like, you guys are all out there telling people, did you see this movie? Did you see that movie? Well, I'm always asking everybody, have you seen the history of sport fishing yet? Just tell everybody what it was like putting that whole thing together real quick, and then we'll shut her down.
Well, it was it was a project that started off as a 60-minute film and turned into a 12-hour series. So it just evolved organically. People heard about what we were doing and they contributed footage. IGFA opened up their vaults. Catalina Island Museum, the San Diego Rod and Reel Club, the Balboa Angling Club, everybody that heard about what we were doing, Trout Unlimited, Bonefish Tarpon and Trust, they all said, what can we do to help you? And people just allowed us access to their footage and allowed us access to their stills and their photographs. And people contributed. So many people gave so much in order for this to be made possible. And it truly is a gift from people that love to fish to people that love to fish. That's really all it comes down to. It's a gift from fishermen to fishermen. And hopefully, I told Dave before we got on the air, we just signed a deal, a distribution deal now with Monkey Wrench Films. and they're going to take the film over and start distributing it. And hopefully we'll get into a lot of channels and make it available to as many people as we can, as economically as we can. You know, it's been a tough road trying to sell it, you know, stream it and sell it and ask for money. But we're just trying to recoup our costs. But hopefully in the next year or two, we'll start to see some big numbers in terms of the amount of people that are available, have it available to them.
And then one thing that a lot of people don't understand is because
I feel sorry for Pablo. Get that QR code off of there.
Well, I just wanted to get some people to get that series. Bye. Sorry, Pablo. Michael loves you.
Cover my mug, but don't cover Pablo's.
Cover me.
Yeah, I just wanted everyone to understand how special that whole thing is and what an honor it is to have Michael as my co-host every Tuesday. And if any of you can think of anything you want to ask us, next Tuesday we'll be back on the show. And on the 15th with Michael and I, we're going to have Scott Mason from the History of Tatty Lures and the book on Tatty Lures and the book on Surface Iron. It's going to be such a great show because between you and him, you guys got so much great history to talk about. It's going to be incredible. But that doesn't mean don't watch us next week, but watch us on the 15th. It'll be cool. Yeah. And we have a lot of people that we would love to have with Michael and I, but here's the problem. Most of these guys are my age, Michael's age, or older. Technology, they don't understand.
Yeah, it's tough.
So they're a little overwhelmed when we ask them to come on the show with us. It's a little overwhelming, a little terrifying. They don't understand how easy it is. Like what was the young ladies that we had on last week?
Oh, Tammy Evans.
She was terrified. She didn't know how this was going to play out. And then when Michael and I were done with Tammy, she told both of us, she's like, wow, that was super easy. We're like, yeah.
That was fun. She wants to come on and do it again. Get her in focus this time.
Yeah, get the pictures, get Elliot to produce it. Michael and I use Elliot exclusively. That's why we're doing what we're doing, because of the great Elliot Andrews. He makes it look so easy and so flawless, but it's not.
Justin, can I interrupt for a second? Do you have some fixed cameras on your boat now? Are you mounting cameras, or are you just doing it all by hand?
So really quick, Dave, can we go longer?
We can go as long as we want.
Okay. If everyone wants us to. So the cameras I have, yes and no. So they can be fixed mounted, but I have them on what is it called? Like an adjustable tripod.
Okay.
Where I can stick it. It's the right size to go inside the rod holders.
Okay, perfect.
I have rod holders up on the bridge. And what I do is I put one camera there and I'll aim it towards the deck. And then when I'm in an area that it doesn't really matter, where people are not going to be able to tell where I'm at, I'll put one down in the rod holder on the deck and up against like my glass. And then I also put one up on top, and I put it around my my compass, because I have the big globe compass.
Right.
I'll just take the tripod and I'll flex the things over and I'll put it right there on the compass. So, or sometimes also, depending on if I need a wider view or whatever I need, up on the bridge on the stainless pipes, I'll take the
clamp it onto the pipe.
Yeah, I'll wrap it around the pipe and hang it that way and turn the cameras upside down, and then the picture will automatically flip.
Perfect.
Yeah, but I could permanently mount it. Just then it would only be in one spot and I won't be able to move them around. Yeah, no,
I think that the permanently mounted cameras start to look like surveillance cameras. They really don't have the effect. So, having a master shot from like the rocket launchers or something gives you an overall shot of the deck. So you've always got it covered. But the handheld, like you were talking about, Pablo, the handheld cameras, that's what brings life to them. That's what brings life to the live broadcast, because it's not just a surveillance camera. It's really people are involved. But yeah, I think
that's the whole thing too, is with the non-mounted camera, you could bring it to
right,
say a fish, a lobster, whatever you're catching, and show it
right in for a close up. Yep.
Yeah, and before, when we first started this whole thing, where'd they go?
I don't know.
Before, when we started this thing, we were keeping it kind of hush hush on what we were doing and how we were doing it, because we wanted to be the one, the only type of thing. Now there's other people that are getting into it, which is awesome. It's really cool, because I think everyone should go live and show how it is on the water. I mean, you're not great all the time. Sometimes you're amazing. Sometimes you're struggling. So it's just what it is on the water. But the cameras I'm using are Mevo, MEVO cameras, and we got 3 of them on the boat.
Nice.
And then that runs off of the Mevo app, which is a software platform.
Okay.
And that cannot be ran on your phone. We've tried it and failed and tried it and failed and got a different phone and failed and kept failing. So we got tired of failing all the time, because we're winners. No. So we got tired of failing all the time trying to do that and stream it. The memory on your phone isn't big enough to hold such a program. So we got a really expensive tablet, like a high-end something, blah, blah, blah tablet, Android, not iPhone.
With a bunch of
Apple. We got an Android tablet, because the Android actually streams it better than the Apple's. So we got the Android something, yada, yada, yada tablet. But still to this day, sometimes we struggle going live because of me. I forget to delete the videos. So for every hour it streams on the cameras that the cameras are on, it's downloading onto the tablet. So if I have 3 cameras on, every hour is 3 hours downloaded to the tablet.
That's a lot of data.
A ton. There's like terabytes of whatever memory on this tablet. So it would download and download and download, and I'm at 15 hours now on my tablet, and the tablet just goes, brr, I'm not working anymore. So the cameras, Dave would always tell me, this is before we knew this. They would tell me, what's wrong? It's on your end. It's not mine. And we'd argue back and forth. Like being married or something. No, it's your fault. No, it's yours. No, it's not. I'm fine. My cameras are on. No, you're not on. No, you're. So we would go back and forth, and come to find out, yeah, it was me. I didn't delete what was on the tablet to then redo more.
Can you set the tablet up now so it deletes every hour automatically?
I don't know how to do that, probably. But if I do that, when we get good footage and we need to use it, then that's deleted.
It's gone, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like when you're filming and stuff, you know about the whole filming thing. You go through hours and hours and hours of tape. And
I've got almost 500 terabytes of drives right here.
That's a lot. That's a ton.
It's unbelievable. I don't know how this computer does it.
Let me just say something real quick, because we never gave this human being the due just that she deserves. Her and her husband, David, took me and Justin by the hand and brought us to the next level. We didn't know what we were doing. We had no idea, Michael, to be perfectly honest. We were trying to do this with Justin's phone, and Jeanette and David
the amount of money and time and energy for the whole thing to actually get this live thing going was out of our control. It was
we didn't have any sponsors giving us any money or anything. Just to let you know, to get the Starlink, to get the cameras, to get all that, we're talking way more money than Justin and I gonna produce doing this thing. But then the Starlink, that's a whole nother animal that you have to have. And
we had to have a certain one and a certain type and a certain this and have it this way and that way. It was pretty crazy.
So when people think, oh, Dave and Justin and Pablo and Al, they're just out there, there is so much going on behind the scenes. You have no idea, gang. And we're blessed that we have great friends in the Your Saltwater Guide community that have been so willing to help us out, because at the end of the day, Michael Folks has known me since I was a kid. Let's just be perfectly honest. There's no reason in the world Dave Hansen's standing here right now. If it wasn't for great humans in my life like Jeanette and David and all the other members, Tim Ogilvy, and I can list all of you, Eric so I could start crying right now. There's Michael knows Dave Hansen. I wasn't born with the silver spoon up my ass, and I worked my ass off for every single thing I have. I'm a grinder. I don't stop. Michael and I tried to put together so many different businesses, but my big mouth always got in the way. And I'm just standing here today. I'm just blown away. I'm in awe of where we're at and all these great people in the community that have helped us out so much. And Jeanette, you've been there for me the whole time. And all the rest of you, I could list all your names. You don't understand how cool it is to see your text messages and to have all of you helping me all the time. We have a handful of sponsors now, makes us break just about even. There's not a lot of money involved in this whole going live thing. Starlink, to do it every month at the level that we're doing it at, eats up a ton of whatever megabytes, whatever the hell bytes they're talking about.
I know. I'm all confused about that.
Just the bill for the Starlink a month is mind-blowing to any of you. Yeah. You can't comprehend what it costs to do this thing. So if you guys think we're rich for doing this, we're not. We're barely hanging on by a string. Like Michael said in the beginning of this show, we're doing it because it's fun. We're doing it because we're enjoying it. We're absolutely having a good time. Like Pablo called me up Sunday morning. He goes, "Can I go live?" I'm all, "Hell yes, you can go live, bro. Come on, let's do this." I don't know what's going to happen. We never in our wildest imagination thought 70,000 people would watch that thing Sunday morning, Pablo. And you know what? Let me be totally honest. On YouTube, 50,000 people watched it, almost 50, 49,800 and something. You know how much that revenue was? $4.
I was going to say.
$4.
Not even double digits for 60,000 views.
For 6 hours.
I know.
$4. So you guys have no idea.
So that's where the sponsors come in and help fund all this stuff. Because it's a phenomenal, like Dave said, a phenomenal amount of money to do this. Yeah. I don't have it. I'm like dead broke. So I
know. It's I've told people this all along. I've lived a very rich life that I really wouldn't trade for anything. I haven't gotten rich, but I've lived a rich life. And what we'd love to do, running a boat, running your podcast, doing live broadcasts, taking care of your boats, that's a life that I wouldn't trade. You know, it doesn't translate deposits at B of A, but it keeps the lights on and it gives us something to do that really, it's so rewarding to your soul.
Yeah.
And
so I just wanted to say a special thank you. This wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for Jeanette and David. Thank you.
And they've been there for Pablo too. They've helped out Pablo tremendously. They're there to help out Captain Al Clowers. And Jeanette just found us one day watching the podcast on accident. And now she's been with us for 4 years, gang. And it's just the positiveness we get out of this show is just second to none. It just doesn't I can't comprehend it. It's thank you so much, every single one of you that are there for me every day. And you guys tell me things like, you saved my life, you did this for me, you did that for me. You guys have no idea what you've done for me and Kelly. It's just incredible. It's just, I'm going to tell you one more super secret thing that you're going to be blown away at. We don't live in Cabo because we got a bunch of money.
No.
I'm just telling you. Sorry, Pablo. I'm sorry. I don't know how I did that, but I did it. Yeah. So I'm not living in Cabo because I got a bunch of money, but it is safe down here and life is simple. But yeah, I would love to be up there in Southern California, living with all of you in the high life with Michael Folks in the middle of Laguna Beach, California, where you're not allowed to go outside or fish or even breathe. It's such a great town.
Oh, yeah.
Is there any lefties in Laguna?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's pretty red.
You might want to go outside.
So Eric said that he has there's a package or whatever of the $150 a month, and you can go anywhere and so on and so on, and it's an RV package. That's exactly what that is. It's an RV package. So we looked into this. Now we're getting deep into it now, right?
Right.
All the cat's out of the bag now, everybody. So we looked into this, and that $150 a month does not cover out in the water. It doesn't. And the reason is because your Starlink beams off of other towers. It doesn't beam off the satellite like they say.
Here's the other thing that, and Eric, I hear you, and my buddy Mark has one in his motorhome, and here's the rub. When you go live for 6 hours or 5 hours or 10 hours, Justin's done it for 10 hours before, you are eating so much data. They're not going to give you that for 150, but I'm sorry. I know it. You think they are because you go on your motorhome and you watch CNN for 15 minutes and then you decide that Orange Man's bad, but that's not how it works on a live show. We're eating up unbelievable amounts of data, like you can't even comprehend.
It runs off of gigabytes.
Gigabytes, terabytes,
so
whatever.
What we did, Eric, is we did that at first, the $150 a month, and we tried it just in the harbor. As soon as my boat started driving at 10 miles an hour, we lost signal. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. And nothing happened. So we're confused. Now that we're getting the cat out of the bag of the whole thing, there is one other guy who's involved with us as well, a really good friend of all of us. He uses Starlink out on the water. And
Todd
they
Manser.
did a phenomenal amount of stuff. What was that?
Todd.
Yeah, Todd Manser.
Todd Manser.
Yep.
So we called Todd Manser and said, hey, this is what we're doing. We don't know what do we do? We don't know anything about this stuff. And he says, well, you could get the plan for $1,000 a month. It's the ocean plan or whatever it is, so on and so on. I was like, well, heck, that's crazy. So here's what we're doing. Now that the cat's out of the bag, he said, or you can do the $150 a month plan, RV plan, like Eric said, but as soon as your boat leaves the dock, you have to turn it on data roaming because now you're in the ocean. And instead of binging off of towers, you're binging off of satellites. Now you have to make sure that your Starlink platform buffer is positioned where the satellites are because sometimes they're not in the right spot. I'm like, what? What are we doing? So Dave and I were pounding our head off the walls, Jeanette and David are calming us down and we're like, what do we do? We don't know what to do. We got to do this and do that and swing the boat this way and swing the boat that way. And we don't know what to do. So then Todd Manser says, well, if you put it in the data roaming and go around and stuff, it'll work fine. So we did that. Now, when you go live on all platforms, not if we just go live on Facebook, great. But if we go live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube,
TikTok, Spotify,
you go here, you go there, you go yada yada. All these platforms, you're eating up a crazy amount of gigabytes. So we tried it. And then Dave calls me. Do you know how much this damn bill is? I was like, whoa. He's like, it's freaking ridiculous. We need to get sponsors. Okay, let's get sponsors to try to help us pay this because it is a crazy amount of money that you're burning going live for so long.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing. We, the sponsors, they're not paying our pocket. They're actually helping pay the live shows is what they're doing. That's all they're doing. So.
Well, and it's like what happened with Shimano and Ford when they pulled their plug on me 15 years ago. They said, we want to be in social media. So they knew, the corporate players knew that this was the direction that everything was going and they wanted to be a part of it. Now you guys are offering them the opportunity to do exactly what they said they wanted to do 15 years ago. And that's live broadcast and promoting Promar and Okuma and everybody else that's stepping up. That's huge to me. It's not quantitative, like, an advertiser, in Nielsen ratings, you get X amount of score for X amount of viewers. But, you're looking at the numbers, 60,000 people watching a live broadcast and something they love to do, like with you, Pablo on Sunday. It was phenomenal. You know, I mean, that's money in the bag for corporate America, I think.
Yeah.
And Eric, anytime you want to go fishing with Justin, Pablo, or Al, we'd love to take you out there and show you what we're doing. And if you have some pointers or something, I think we're at a point now where we kind of got it figured out, but we're never going to tell anybody we know what the hell we're doing, because
we don't.
We're being honest here. And if you could change what I'm spending a month, that would be great. I don't know how, but we're all here to learn. I mean, I never going to claim I know anything, because I really don't know much, but we're doing the very best we can. And it's because of all our great friends and sponsors. And like Brent just said, yeah, you spend $1,000 to make 4. That's not real good business. But then again, the fishing industry never has really been a good business, to be perfectly honest with you. Pablo and Justin and Al can't even get off the dock right now. And when they do get a charter, then the wind blows. That's another thing a lot of you guys in your businesses, you don't understand. This business is highly regulated by the weather. You get all planned up and you're all excited and you got your deposit from the group. And yeah, if you're Justin, Pablo, Al, or Michael Folks or myself, that deposit went to feed our family already. We already spent that deposit, and then the wind blows and then you want your deposit back. We're going over to the credit card to get your money out of the credit card to give you back your deposit. So the wind is a gnarly thing, and April sucks, always has, cost the industry a ton of money. And then another thing about
Friday, I'll be live Friday, everyone.
Another thing about these live shows, gang, sponsors want to see their stuff. They want to see, and then you're doing a live show, like Justin had a trip today. Al had a trip today. Pablo had a trip today. We were going to go crazy with the sponsors. They're all tied to the dock because of the weather. So then you got to go to your sponsor and say, hey, I love you guys, and I know we were going to do a live show today, but
if it's blowing, we're not going.
Yeah. So but there was so everyone knows there was a lot of people involved on doing this whole live show thing. I don't even, where did we even get going into the live show thing? I guess Michael Folks, he's the film expert. So there was a lot of people involved on here, and just a special thank you to everyone that was involved. There was a lot of people helping us out. Elliot was involved. It goes on and on and on of all these people that were involved. We had an issue where we couldn't figure out how in the wild world of sports to go on the Mevo app and stream it live to Restream is the platform we're using, to then go to all these other platforms, because it wasn't on there, and we're computer illiterate. I mean, you tell us how to turn on a computer, we can tell you push that button right there.
We're definitely on the spectrum.
Yeah. Do this http://wwsdm yada yada yada, put a URL in a smurl or something weird, all this other stuff. We're like, what? Yeah. So we ask Elliot, right? Hey, how do we do this? And he's all, oh, you put that in your URL something platform, something or another. We're all, what? Well, where do we find that at?
Yeah, where's that button?
Well, where's that at?
Where's that auto?
So we had to figure out how to then go and find not just our IP address to this stuff, but whatever this other weird long address thing is that makes no sense at all, or numbers or figures or anything else on Restream, to then put it into Mevo, to then broadcast it and hit live. We're like, what? So it took us like 3 months to figure this out.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. It is pretty amazing that you're able to do what it is that you're doing, though.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Like you said, it takes a community. It takes a community, and without everyone out there that's watching, we wouldn't be able to do it. So it's not just the guys in front of the camera, but it's the people that are watching at home. Like, I'm looking at all these comments, and it just blows me away. Thank you, guys. I mean, it's like, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for your support, because it's, your support enables the sponsors to give us their support. So it's a pretty cool little community here, David.
Yeah, it is. I'm pretty happy.
Your posse.
And see, I'm so behind on what any of this stuff's called. It's called Logitech. Thanks, Jeanette. It was Mevo, and then we had to switch it, and it didn't work, and this, that. I don't know. It was really confusing.
Well, and we're doing something that no one else has ever done before. So we can't call up the guy. We can't call up Michael Folks and go, hey, you know, when you were doing those live fishing shows in the middle of the ocean for 60,000 people on 9 different platforms at the same time. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? So just like the website, yoursaltwaterguide.com, no one's ever done that before. I created something out of nothing. Back in the day when I used to go with you on your boat and teach you how to fish on your boat, I created that out of clear blue sky. No one had ever done that before. They even created a guide license just for me because they needed to get some of my money. So the Fish and Wildlife created a guide license for Captain Dave because he's charging people to take them on their boats and teach them how to fish, which has never been done before. So we need to get some of his money. And all these things, gang, that we're doing, they're cutting edge. They've never been done before. So when you guys have a better suggestion on what we should do, or if you can help us in any way, shape, or form, we're always willing to listen. We want to do the best we possibly can do for all of you. It's a pretty cool thing we're doing, but like Michael will tell you, I was pulling on his coat strings for years going, what should I do? How can I do this? What can I do that? And you're like, dude, I have no idea. I've never done that either. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I always want to be on the cutting edge. I want to try something different. The really cool thing for Pablo, Al, and I is Justin used to have a TV show. Michael, you know that, right?
No, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah. Venom Hunters on Discovery
Channel.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, we were on Discovery Channel, and then it went to Animal Planet.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So this is in your DNA as well as fishing. I like it.
Yeah.
So when he started doing this with us, he's stopping what he's doing. He's explaining it to the people. You're like, shit, this guy knows what he's doing. He has a clue. And he's engaging with the people. And one thing about these live shows is sometimes he can't see the comments, and Pablo can't see the comments, and they want to see the comments. They want to be involved. Everything's pushing to a better platform, a better way to do it. And we'll get it figured out. We're not going anywhere.
You see what Jeanette said, Pablo? And also, really quick before you answer that, I'm going to just say this really quick. So what's great about doing the live shows and what Dave does, so on and so on, so many people watch, even people that don't like Dave, and they still watch it because maybe they're brain dead, and then they have to make a brain dead comment. So good job. I just want to say congratulations, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
There's a Brandon on here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he got snuck by me. I'm not seeing him.
You scroll down on your comment.
You're not missing a thing.
Oh, there you are, Brandon. You're actually watching. I can see him now. You're watching me.
Yeah, he came on here. He's a keyboard warrior, so he came on here just to say bad stuff. But good job, Brandon. Thanks for watching, though.
Should we let him watch a little longer and make some more dumb comments, or should we just ban him, gang? What do y'all think?
I think we should let him make more dumb comments because then the algorithm will go up even higher.
You got me, Brandon. Oh, my goodness. You got me. I'll bet you he's from that website that's failing over there. What do you guys think? Yeah. I'll bet he is.
I think so, too.
I'll bet you he is. Oh, Brandon. God, I love guys like Brandon. They're so cool. They make my day. Brandon, thank you so much, buddy.
Burn a Tesla. Burn a Tesla.
Yeah. Show us all
you need to get over to Jeanette.
I know. I'm going to call her here in a minute.
No way. Really?
Yeah.
Leave him here? All right, Steve Duncan Bugman. You know what's funny, Michael Folks? Every year at the PCS show, I leave tickets for all these people that behind the computer screen in the safety of their own home, behind their mom, they make these comments. And I invite them all to come to the show and come up on stage and beat the hell out of me in front of everybody. And nobody ever shows up.
Keyboard warriors.
They don't show up, but they talk a big game behind the screen.
Yeah.
I'm hard to find too. I'm super hard to find.
You know what's really funny? I didn't mention it. Actually, I told a couple people, but I just bit the hell out of my tongue. So I only told a couple people, and the cat's coming out of the bag today, right? Screw it. There was a couple people that were watching Dave's seminar over at the PCS show. You know where if you were at the seminar stage, there was a place that sold like outboard motors right there. They had the Yamahas and so on, the outboards. There was a couple guys over there staring and putting their head down. I was like, dude, stop being a freaking chicken and go out there and say something. Staring, putting their head down.
Yeah.
So funny.
I think anytime you take a stance and say what you believe and believe what you say and are willing to put it out there, you're going to find controversy.
Yeah.
You know, it's the nature of the beast. So I think as long as you are speaking from your heart and telling the truth, that's all you can do. And haters are going to be haters. Sorry, that's all there is to it. And
yeah.
I feel sorry for people that live in that world of hate as opposed to a world of creativity and support. Just two different lifestyles. You know.
Absolutely, 100%.
You know, so.
Come on, Pablo, talk.
Yeah, baby.
No, man, I'm just taking it all in. Plus, I was muted most of the time, so now.
Oh, stop.
So I heard.
What do you have coming up?
The what?
What do you have coming up?
What I got coming up? Well, I just got a text right now. That's what I was looking at. There's a bunch of bluefin right now off Point Loma, probably 10 to 12 nautical miles off the point.
Inside the knot.
Did you see that? I don't want to say that sport boat on here, but I don't want to say the name of it. That sport boat just got 1,200, 150 pounders.
Way down south, though.
No, that was right off of right where you're talking about. I'm not going to say what the numbers.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was way down south, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So, pretty amazing.
Pretty cool.
Good talk.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Shut the fan off. Let's go catch some bluefin.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, did you see those lobsters we caught last night? We had full limits in 2 hours for 3 guys. The biggest one was 13 pounds. It was insane. I posted it on my Facebook page.
Hell yeah.
For 3 guys?
We were going to run a trip tonight too, right?
3
Yeah,
guys.
we got openings tonight. We got 2 openings left. We take 1 person and we got 2 openings left.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure that one out.
And all of you that are listening, what's the date today?
March 31st.
No, I think you're missing that.
All right, we found Brandon. Now we know why he's so angry.
Yeah, because he can never get anything straight.
No, his head grew through his hair.
Oh.
It sucks when that happens. I understand. You gotta hate me. I got a bunch of hair. I live in Cabo. I got a pet monkey. I got a smoking hot wife. I got a podcast that you can't quit watching. There's a lot to hate me for.
Yeah.
You got me, Brandon. I tell you, you got me. I don't know what I'm going to do today. I think I'm going to go down to the beach.
You should go bury your head in a pillow and cry all day because he got you.
He got me, boy. That's all. That's it. Well, gang, Pablo, what do you got?
I would like to get out on Friday if anybody wants to go catch some of them rockfish and go poke around for some of those not April Fools for some of those nice fish that are around the backyard here in San Diego. So give me a call, 619-431-3070. And then Saturday I got a trip, but they're also doing that tournament. I think it's the Star Tournament, right? And Promar is sponsoring it, and Deckhand Sports is also sponsoring it. And that's on Saturday in Mission Bay and San Diego Bay. So come check that out if you guys want to enter it. I'm sure they got spots. You guys can get in on that. And that's pretty much it. Ready to go. Ready to just do boat work for the rest of the windy week and get out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Sounds like a pretty good week.
Yeah, got to get off the dock. Got to get some trips. Now, Captain Al's got a trip on Thursday, and then Captain Al's got a trip on Friday. You know what would be cool? If you guys chartered Pablo, Captain Al, and Justin all live, stacked up, just like me and Michael and Pablo and Justin today, 3 stacked live. How epic would that be? That would be pretty fun. So get with Pablo. Get with Pablo and all the haters. You need to watch, because we need you to watch to show us how much you hate us by watching.
And please tell us what we're doing wrong.
Yeah.
Because we love doing stuff wrong.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be trolling for rockfish. Watch.
With a Rapala.
Mad Mac.
Yeah, Mad Mac, the Rockfish edition.
Yeah.
You got to keep it under 30 knots.
I was going to say it deep dives down to 600.
Did you guys see my video I put out last night at 6 o'clock?
Probably. Which one was it?
I know I put out so many. Filleting a bonefish, the best eating fish in the ocean.
Oh yeah.
I was watching that one.
That's the true definition of trolling.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That is too funny. So yeah, I'll be out Friday. I'm sure Pablo will get booked up, go out Friday, and then Al will be out Friday. So it's going to be a freaking phenomenal show. I don't know where I'm going yet. I don't know if I'm going local or if I'm going Catalina. It's all up to Paul, and we'll figure that out when it comes.
Yeah.
You may want to go for lingcod, so we may target lingcod. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to go either local or Coronados, I hope, on Friday. And on Saturday, I haven't decided if I'm going local or Coronados. So we'll see what the guests want to do on Saturday. I'll talk to them later today. And yeah, it's going to be a great weekend out there.
I will tell you, everyone watching, if you want to book a trip to go target yellowtail, I would definitely book Pablo immediately, because I'm going to tell Pablo after the show where someone I know was just at this spot, and no April Fool's joke. Literally, seriously, it's not April Fool's joke. Literally seen millions of yellowtail. They caught a little over a handful of them, broke off a bunch of them, but it was like yellowtail bonanza. And it's not too far from one of the spots that you mentioned a little while ago.
Cool.
Nice.
It is in water, so.
Very
All
nice.
right. Well, I'm going to get out of here, gang. We're going to shut this show down. I want to thank Michael Folks for being my co-host every Tuesday. You'll see him again next Tuesday.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you on the live fishing shows, gang. Tomorrow, we got a great show for you. You're just going to have me hanging out, telling you how great I am. So hopefully Brandon joins us. I'm super excited. Get back on here, Brandon. Tomorrow, it's going to be all about me. So everybody tune in. I'm going to let y'all know what a great human being I am and how cool I am and what a great fisherman I am. So make sure you're on here tomorrow. I'll see you all at noon. Michael, Justin, Pablo, say goodbye.
Great seeing you guys. Thank you.